Headphones on, the whispers begin.
Have you ever come across someone who looks out of the ordinary? I did, and I still wonder if it was real. I was 13 when it happened. My cousin's house was in a quiet, rural neighborhood, the kind of place where kids could still run around until sunset without anyone worrying too much. That weekend, my older brother and I were staying over, and we spent most of the day outside, kicking a ball around, riding bikes, and exploring the edges of the woods that bordered the houses. There was a wall of trees behind my cousin's backyard, leading to an abandoned field. We weren't really supposed to go in there, but we did sometimes. It was just overgrown farmland, nothing too dangerous. At least, that's what we thought. It was getting late, the sun bleeding out over the treetops, when we heard it. A roar. Not an animal's roar, not a growl or a howl. A deep, guttural human roar. It echoed through the trees, rattling in my chest like something was just beyond the woods, waiting. My cousin and I froze, exchanging nervous glances, but my brother, being the oldest, just laughed it off. Probably some drunk guy messing around, he said. But we all knew no one lived past those trees. That field had been empty for years. Curiosity got the best of us, and we pushed through the underbrush, stepping over fallen branches and dry leaves, following the sound. When we finally broke through the tree line, we saw him. A man, if you could call him that. He was incredibly tall, his body bulky, and covered in what looked like streaks of gray paint smeared over his skin. His back muscles strained as he gripped a tree, pulling at it with unnatural strength. And then, with a final roar, he yanked it down. The trunk cracked, snapping like a bone, and the man stumbled back, panting, before he started jumping around, shaking, his breath ragged and uneven. We just stood there, watching, unable to move. Then, before I could stop him, my brother called out, "Hey, you okay?" The man's head snapped toward us, his eyes locked onto mine, wide and unblinking. And then, he dropped to all fours. A sound ripped from his throat, somewhere between a growl and a scream, and he launched forward, sprinting toward us on his hands and feet like an animal. I didn't even think. I turned and bolted, pushing past my cousin, clawing through the trees, feeling branches scratch at my arms as we scrambled to get out. My heart slammed against my ribs, my breath burning in my throat. I could hear the crashing behind us, leaves rustling, twigs snapping, as that thing charged forward. We burst into the backyard, screaming for my uncle. He was already on the porch, beer in hand, and when he saw our faces, his expression darkened. What the hell's going on? We barely got the words out. Man, woods, running, chasing us. My uncle didn't ask questions. He went inside, came back with his shotgun, and told us to stay put. We didn't. We followed him, just far enough to see. The field was still. The fallen tree was there, freshly uprooted, but the man was gone. My uncle's grip on the shotgun tightened. He scanned the trees, then muttered something under his breath before telling us to go inside. We didn't sleep that night. My uncle stayed up, his shotgun leaning against the kitchen table. My aunt kept glancing at him, whispering things we couldn't hear. The next morning, my brother and I convinced ourselves it had been some crazy vagrant, maybe a guy on drugs. We joked about it, tried to push it out of our minds, but my cousin was quiet. I caught him staring out the window, chewing at his fingernail. I nudged him. "Dude, what's up?" He hesitated, then looked at me. But it unsettled me in a way I couldn't explain. Something about that night wasn't right. Something about that man. No, not a man. A thing. Something that ran on all fours, tore down trees, and screamed like a human. I don't know where he went that night. I don't know if he ever left. But sometimes, when I think back to that weekend, I wonder, did we find him? Or did he find us first? Would you like to hear more creepy tales? Subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any stories. Here I leave you a story that will scare you. Listen to it if you dare.